right, welcome back in to episode 4 now, I believe, of the Blue Guys. I'm Landen, that's Richard Lucas, and we got a short but fun one for you guys today. We figured, Christmas break, we almost took the week off, but we decided to at least get another episode.
We're the glue guys. We're the glue guys.
Yeah,
we don't do that kind of stuff, right?
Good point. So we have a short one, but we'll be covering a little bit of the Stephen F. Austin game, some thoughts on that. We have a top 5 list today, which is the top 5 game winners or ending to games, of all time. A little bit of sub in, sub out on whether or not a team from the top 5 or outside the top 5 or top 10, I guess it is, has a chance of winning. It's top 10, right?
Top 10, yeah.
Top 10 has a chance of winning the national championship. And then the Spiderman review, which I've been having you hold off telling me your thoughts on. I'm curious. I wish we could start the show with that, but
I know.
We'll go ahead and move that to the back. And then hopefully get Naadir Tharpe on as our one guest today. We'll see if he shows up, but at least we got one episode coming up, and it's going to be a short one, but hopefully a good one.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. And, unfortunately, your KU Jayhawks weren't able to take to the court last night, but I decided to wear my KU's stuff, so they couldn't be there representing Kansas, so I decided to do that for you all today.
Yeah, and that whole thing was kind of a mess. I mean, everything is, up in the air right now with COVID and stuff, but it was just a bummer to see it be canceled so close to the game, because I saw that they were even out there warming up and getting ready. And, that's just unfortunate that I don't know if they have finals or school even going on right now, but regardless, you got, these kids in college traveling to this game, staying the night there before, getting all mentally prepared, going out there, getting their bodies ready. And then, an hour and a half, 2 hours before tip off, they're like, oh, it's off.
Well, and the thing is too, is that it is, game time is what you practice for, right? I mean, the game is the payoff from all of that work you put in throughout the week. And so to not have that payoff, it's kind of a bummer in that regard. I don't worry too much about them and they're young, so their bodies and stuff. Don't worry about them flying and stuff. They're fine in that regard. And they stayed in probably a super nice hotel and had great meals and stuff. So so I'm not worried about any of that. But I just know that, if it was me, I'm ready to play. Let's do this. And then to be told that it's over with or not happening, that'd be kind of a bummer for sure.
Yeah. Well, that leaves Stephen F. Austin as the last game before break.
And they won.
And they won.
Which is good.
However, it was a close game. So my question to you today is, if you're the coach and now you have this break, obviously the players are going to be going back and then back home for a few days, then coming back out. How are you treating this break? I know how it goes during a loss, and it's no fun. And as a coach, you take advantage of every hour possible that you have to practice to, really, not punish, but, it feels like punishment as a player. But, coming off of this game, which was obviously a lot closer than it should have been, how are you handling this break going into the next game coming after Christmas?
So you're going to handle it. If it was me, I would handle it as if we did lose. Because the thing is that when you're dealing with young men, 18 to 22 in that range, it's very easy for emotions to swing, and you have to try and keep them to understand that just because they won a game, it's not about just the wins and losses. Often it's about the execution. And I remember, a quick story. I remember in high school, I had my high school coach that was he was very, I'd say he's pretty similar to how Coach Self is. And we had beaten a team by 25. And after the game, he yelled at us for probably 35, 40 minutes. And you would think, well, why would he do that? Well, we should have beaten that team by 40. You know what I mean? And so he had to so coaches like utilizing, any weakness in the team to be able to not only learn and try to motivate, but I really think, especially with young men, you have to get them to understand that Yeah, you won, but you're not the greatest thing since sliced bread. You could have lost. The ball goes one way or the other, and this potentially could have been an L. So I would use it, and the worst thing for those players is they didn't get a chance to play really well against Colorado and wipe that taste out of his mouth. So I think you're going to see a lot of running and a lot of film sessions and trying to improve, which is all going to be good for the team long run.
Yeah, and I think it almost is the best case scenario because they get the win. It's not a loss on their record. However, like you said, he's more than likely going to treat it almost as if it were a loss. So it sucks for the players, but as a coaching staff, it works out because you get the win and you also get a teaching moment during a very important time. I mean, this is where a lot of the teams I was a part of grew the most is over this next month or so heading into the Big 12. And that's where, Coach Self has been known to take advantage of that time and then have his team prepared for the Big 12 schedule, which this year the Big 12 is looking great. So they're going to need to be prepared. But a few notes I have on the game, a few thoughts I have watching. One of the things that stuck out to me, and it was actually something that a writer, Jesse Newell is his name. He's a good writer in Kansas. And he posted something on Twitter, which was just he was showing a play that Kansas runs that Stephen F. Austin ran. And I think it was Wilson who stepped out and stopped the play because, he was saying he recognized it and stuff. But what I took from that clip, and it got me thinking a little bit about things, was the reason he was able to step out and switch that was because they were switching 4. And the other clip when they were playing, I think it was Michigan State, they were not switching 4. They were in a 3-2 defense. And so what it got me thinking was, the value of being able to switch things, especially in today's game. And I got even deeper into it and I was like, okay, switching 4 is that, valuable and stuff. Maybe they start looking into switching 5 only because I saw what their post defense was looking like last game. And the reason you don't switch 5 or you have, posts in there and stuff is to stop the post and stop the low post, have somebody that's in there that can do that. And when that's not working for you, maybe you look at, approaching it differently. And so, I'm curious if it's something he looks at doing or playing in games where that may present itself in different ways. But I think that when you have your leading rebounder of the game being Christian Brown with, I think, 6 rebounds, your starting center, McCormick, he got into foul trouble, but he had 0 rebounds. And then I don't know the guy's name, but number 14 from Stephen F. Austin just kept getting great position and just kept making pretty easy moves to layups. It's almost like you got to find something else that could work. And that's something that, I started noticing was how good switching 4 was working for them. And it's like, well, maybe at some point you go to smaller lineups in the games with guys who can switch 5 and look at doing it that way because the reason to not doesn't seem to be working the way it should.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you one thing is that when the amount of switching that's going on, when you say even switching 4, in my day, I hate to say it that way, but back when I played a long time ago, that was absolutely unheard of. You would not have, power forwards essentially switching, and potentially going out on guards. I mean, at the very most, you would have just the guards maybe switching up top. And so to have a team that has athletes that can guard no matter who it is that they switch on to, I think it's phenomenal. My question, I guess, to you is that, and I already know the answer, but I'd like to hear you say it, is the fact that how would you handle if all of a sudden they go, hey, we're all switching, and then all of a sudden you got a point guard up top, and you got to get down and try to guard yourself. Well, I'll tell you one thing,
that would never happen. I would suck. I wouldn't want that. But one thing that I would do is I would take it personally as a big, because what is happening by doing that is you're pretty much saying the value that you bring guarding that big man is not much better than somebody else, and then on top of it being in position to rebound, all those things, and you're essentially kind of being eliminated from the game, and they can replace you with somebody else. So I would take that personally. And I agree with you. I mean, I personally don't like switching. It was something that I didn't like. You have your man, guard your man, get through the screens, you know, all those things. It was just something I noticed, because when you are lacking some of that inside presence, it just is something to consider and think about. And, you know, really, it should work as motivation to Dave, you know, and he's doing, you know, I think that there's a lot of conversations that need to be had with him through the team, not only to instill confidence in him, but when it's coming from your peers, you know, I think that it's always helpful. And over this break, I think having those conversations with him, maybe going back and showing him, I know they were showing, Coach Rob said he was showing him two-handed rebounds from the St. John's game. I would go back even farther and go back to last year, because last year when he was playing at that high level, which coming into this preseason had him on all the, you know, watch lists for different things, he was doing something right at that point in time. It's the same guy, you know, maybe show him some of those, give him some talks. But if that were to fail in game, which, you know, it may be some process, I would consider at some point in time switching it up a little bit, maybe going with a smaller lineup in certain situations and stuff. And it really all comes back to, you know, the rebounding and the defense. And one last thing I'll say on the defense, with this guy, he was pretty good, the 14 at, you know, getting position and finishing around the rim for the most part. The biggest thing I'll say, watching Mitch, and I think David too, I remember telling him this the one time I was in Kansas, but, you know, when you're guarding, the one thing I would try to do is keep contact without overcommitting my body in any type of way that the offense can, you know, the guy on offense can use it against me. And so when they catch, first playing the post before he catches it, most important thing. You always taught me that, you know, hand around, make sure he's catching the ball further and further off the block. But then once he does catch the ball, having that, the use of that one arm is so important to me, because it allows you to get a feel for which way they're going, and then position your body when they get there, you know. And if you at any point in time allow that gap to close where he's up against your body, it's too easy to spin off one way or the other. That's you know, being somebody on offense, that's what you want to feel is their body, so you can go off of it. And so there were a few times where this guy was pretty good at using his body and stuff. And I feel like that's something that they could work on, is just making sure that you're keeping that contact, but also allowing yourself to beat them to those positions and wall up before, you know, they get a feel for you and use that against you.
Yeah. I will say that one of the things that I was always so impressed by you is that when you know, as a kid and growing up and really working with you on the post, you were able to take those concepts and put them and apply them out on the court. And you know, one of the things that I always believed was that as a big, you want to try and do your work early, right? The phrase I used oftentimes: do the work early, because if the worst circumstance is that you're just buried on the block and that big has just got you just literally standing underneath the basket. So you can't allow that. So by doing your work early, I would want to deter that wing from even throwing the ball in. That's number one. That's number one, right? It's like I want to deter that from even happening. So like you talked about, I mean, I'm going around, I'm putting my arm out, I'm trying to do everything
3/4
and stay and 3/4. I'm trying to stay as active as possible, because now think about what's going on that wing. The wing he's out there, he's got a defender in his face, and he's looking to trying to get an entry pass into the post. Well, if that gets deflected or that gets, you know, out of bounds or something, it's on him, right? It's always falling passer. So that's what I'm saying, is that guy doesn't want to come out, right? And so you do your work early, deter that from even happening, and good things will happen for you in the post.
And as a big guy, I remember this happened with Caleb from Purdue. the more you do that, the big guy knows when it's a play for him or knows when it's supposed to come, and they want that ball. And so what they're going to do is keep, okay, I can get open here. Oh, hey, get it to me here. Oh, here, and the next thing you know, he's at the 3-point line trying to get an entry pass because he, a guy like him was like, hey, this is my play. This is my turn to get the ball. And he's way easier to guard when he's a step inside the 3-point line than if he just cut across and caught in the middle. So, yeah, I agree 100% with that kind of stuff. Getting in position early. I used to, know if they ran a play a couple times, just put yourself in the position that he wants to go, and then he's going to have to figure something out. And then that always, benefits you on defense. So, I know we got into that a little bit as big men. We see things, that way. So,
well, can I throw one more thing out there just in case
he ends up
watching? In case he ends up watching, okay. So, from a rebounding standpoint, one of the things that I think is important is on offense, the big knows what the play is going to be. So especially from practice, where a shot is most likely to happen. Of course, most plays have options, right? Oh, you go here, and if this doesn't open, turn around, look over here, and all that stuff. But from running plays over and over again where things are most likely to happen. In addition, when that shot comes, where it's most likely to go off of the rim. So a couple of things. One is I would start to get into position early. And that's one of the things, again, that I thought you always did a phenomenal job of, is that you're like, hey, I know Frank's going to get the ball over there.
If he's in the corner and he's wide open for a shot, I'm going to the other side of the hoop and position myself because the shot's going up.
You know the shot's going up, and the likelihood is it's going to come over on the other side. So that is positioning yourself. The other thing, too, is imagine that you've got a guy who's maybe trying to front you, and that a shot's about to go up. Well, why in the world would I be fighting for position to try and get back up when I know the shot's going to go up? So guess what I'm doing? I'm blocking his butt out before the shot even goes up. And you may get a 3-second call. I'll take a 3-second call in the lane. I'll take that in the lane if all of a sudden I get great position in the key. So for an offensive rebound. So anyway, just a rebound, a couple of rebounding tips that I think that could help him become a better rebounder long term. Getting a goose egg is never a good thing.
I mean that's the last thing you want. I mean, even if it was just, I think he only played 10 minutes, but even in 10 minutes, should not happen. That's
remember what was the rule for minutes?
Oh, it was what, 1 every 2 or something like that?
Yeah, it was a rebound for every 2 minutes.
So in 10 minutes, I should have had 5.
You should have had 5. That's exactly right.
That was what you shot.
Yeah, that's what you were. That was what you were always shooting for, was a rebound every 2 minutes. So if you were on that pace and you played 10 minutes, you should have 5 rebounds.
Yeah, and I mean that's reaching a little bit, as far as what averages probably are. But you should have that as a goal. And I remember consciously thinking, okay, it's been 4 minutes. It's the first TV timeout.
Yes.
I better have 3 rebounds by now, And if I didn't, I'd be disappointed. I mean, Coach Howard, who is now at Texas, he used to always kind of keep me updated on things. So I'd be walking back onto the court. He'd be like, "You got 4 right now. You've been playing, 12, 14 minutes or something. What's going on?"
Like, what's up?
And he would let me know when I got, double doubles or over 10. So, it was always motivation to me. And, I'm on the court. Other guys are doing all the scoring and stuff. I was just like, okay, when can I get the next rebound? And then once I got it, I was just like, all right, hey, I accomplished that. Let me just get it to somebody else to get the shot up. So
that is why you're the ultimate glue guy.
I know. That's why this show is called.
This is why this show exists.
So to end that game, Remy hit a big shot. I think that's part of the reason. You like guys like him on the team. He's used to being in that position before. He comes into the game, knocks down that shot, big time game, seals it, all good. But that leads us to our top 5 list of today, which is the biggest game winners, endings to games and stuff. And I wanted to start it off this time because I
Okay.
went a little different. I know you're going to do everything, all sports and all that stuff. I
I am,
decided to
yes.
keep it simple for the Jayhawk fans and do top 5 from what I've seen at Kansas. So I want to
Oh,
go
okay.
game winners, and then I'll let you take over and do the all time
Okay.
all sports.
Okay.
So I'm going to
All
start
right.
off, and I have a two tied for 5th, both by the same guy. So my
Okay.
list is 6, I guess. But Svi, I'm going to do the Duke one. Obviously, was huge
Yes.
to get to the Final Four, and then the Kansas State. Few
Yes.
steps from half
Yes.
court.
Yes.
few
Yes.
steps, but at the end of the day, he finished it at the rim. I was hoping for an alley-oop. I don't know if you remember, but I was right there. My man helped up, and he still had time. He could have tossed it up. That would have been an
No.
awesome game.
Yes.
But he went ahead and finished it. Game over against Kansas State. That was fun.
That was fun.
And number 4, this was my redshirt year, and I remember rooting really hard because, I told you with my visit and stuff, I was ready to go out. It was a big game against Iowa State. I didn't want to run at practice because we lost to this team. So I'm on the end of the bench just cheering hard, like, please get this done.
Please.
And I remember Ben came down. It was against Iowa State. We don't like them at home. And so I'm like, if we lose this game, I think it snapped a win streak, all this stuff. It's not going to be fun in practice. So please. And Ben came down. I think it was a bank shot he hit to send into overtime. And that was obviously a big one for me. Number 3 is our guest coming on later today. Nadir, he went down to Oklahoma State. There was a big game to ultimately go on to win the Big 12 championship. And he had a little floater in the lane against them with a few seconds left. That was big.
Yeah.
Number 2, now this one was a big one. We were playing number 1 Duke in Madison Square Garden, and Mr. Frank Mason came down with his little pull-up, which is such a good shot. And I feel like some guys, if you can get to that shot, some guys are just able to knock that down, elevate, knock it down. He did. It was big time. You're beating the number 1 team, a big name team in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I was there.
You were there. It doesn't get much. I hated that game because I played terribly. But it doesn't get much better than that. But it does in number 1, which is the shot, as Kansas people know it as, Mario Chalmers winning that game in the national championship. The play that we ran multiple times. Coach Self loves it at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I actually forgot what it was called. I think it's just called quick game. But just come down, that dribble handoff into a shot. He knocked it down to send it into overtime. Will forever go down as a legend at Kansas. And I would hope, if I did a top 5 of all time, I would put it on there. I'm biased. I would hope you would have it on there, but I want to pass it over to you now to hear all sports, all time. What are your top 5 game enders, game winning?
Yeah, and those were great, by the way. And it's nice to kind of go down memory lane with that. So, yeah, I did go kind of what you thought. And for me, really, what I looked for when this kind of came up is enders. I was looking for, like, what were the ones that were very memorable to me personally, and maybe some for those that are watching and listening, but for me personally, it was very like iconic, and I remember. In some cases, I remember exactly where it was when it happened. And the other thing too, I was looking for in this was I liked walk-offs, basically, right? Not that something could take that, like that, like that was it. Like it just basically was over with. So. Number 5 I have on my list is Carrie Strug. Do you remember her?
I don't
from
know.
1990. You probably don't know who she is. 1996 Olympics.
Okay.
And she is the one of the gymnasts. And the women, we were behind to the Russian team, and she had to go through and do one of the apparatus. I can't remember which one it was, but
she nailed it.
And she first hurt herself. In the play right before the play, but the ball right before, she hurt her ankle, and they were like, well, you got to go out, you got to get this other one and stick it, or we lose to Russia. And so she was hurt and all that, and she does her flip,
Some
she
drama,
lands,
I love
and
it.
she sticks it, and then she lifts up her foot because she's in pain. And then you see, because she's tiny, you see her coach go and pick her up and literally carry her back over to their side.
That's big.
It was very huge, very huge.
That.
Number 4, do you know if I say the words of the play, what I'm referring to?
Is it the college football Stanford one where they were doing
yes.
all the
So that's what I'm saying. That's why it's referred to as the play, Cal versus Stanford. I just love the fact that, you know, they all thought it was over with, and the Stanford band walks out there, you know, is out there, and they're still, you know, Cal players are still going, and they knock over the trombone player or something, and they get into the end zone to win the game. Number 3, my opinion, greatest player to ever play the game of basketball, Michael Jordan. His final shot in 1998 in the NBA Finals against the Jazz. He basically shoves Byron Russell to the ground, and he shoots.
At the end of the game, just let it happen.
Just let it roll, right?
Just let it rock.
He hits the free throw line jump shot to win it. And actually, if you think about it, that was his last shot as a Chicago Bull, actually, because that ended that game, and I think that was the last time he was with the Bulls, I believe. And then number 2, I think if I say Hail Mary to you, is there one play that you remember at all?
Flutie or whatever?
Flutie, exactly right. So that's what
I know
I'm
my
saying.
sports.
This is iconic stuff. So Doug Flutie, 1984. If you watch the video, it's like all great. It's all grainy and stuff, but he throws the ball into the end zone. And to me, that was basically the start of the Hail Mary, was from that Doug Flutie. So he's known for that. But number 1, back on the hardwood.
Okay.
And we're talking about a matchup of 2 blue bloods. Come on.
Okay.
And you got it actually was an Elite 8. It feels like a Final 4, but it was an
Elite 8 the turnaround?
Game.
Are you going to that one?
I'm going to that one. Yes, Christian Laettner, 1992. The one dribble, turnaround jump shot. It was money, to win it all. And then you see, I can't remember the kid's name with his face. He's like, he looks like he was about to cry. He's like, I couldn't believe what happened.
Oh, my God.
To me, that was the all-timer when you come to it. I remember exactly where I was when I was watching it as a fan. And it was an overtime as well. It was like 103 to 104 or something like that. So it was a high-scoring game. It was unbelievable and super fun to watch. So that's my top 5.
Hey, you gave different sports. You went to gymnastics and all kinds of stuff. Right? It was awesome. That was impressive.
I'm a glue guy. I bring it. Yeah,
no, that was good. I mean, I think that the Kansas fans will probably like my list.
Of course.
But I mean, I'm just trying to appeal to the people. But that was pretty good.
I appeal to the people.
Yeah. But we have one more little segment I want to do, and then we'll go ahead and bring Nadir on. That is the sub in, sub out. And so just quick question to you. Are you subbing in? Are you subbing out that a team outside of the top 10 currently will have a chance or will win the national championship come March or April?
Yeah. So if the question was, will a team outside of the top 10 currently make a Final 4, then I'd be subbing in for that. But the reason why I have the sub out is because if you think of, I don't even want to say statistically, but just look at the history of Final 4s. The reason why people believe that Final 4s is, you never know what could happen, is because of the first round and the second round. And you see upsets, right? 5-12 upsets. And you see, even the one that was 16-1. I mean, like, all that stuff does happen. But what usually happens at the very end? Who usually wins it that year? It's one of the ones that was highly ranked to begin with, and one of the top teams. So the top teams it's pretty top heavy in my opinion. I think there's too many really, really good teams. And so I just don't see that there's a team that's, ranked 19th right now that has 3 losses that is going to be able to navigate through the NCAA tournament, through the Final 4, and beat teams, like Kansas along the way to ultimately win the whole thing.
Yeah. And I'm picking Kansas to win, and they're in the top 10 right now. So I got to go with that. But, I agree with you. And right now, looking at the top 10, there's some really, really good teams and tough teams in that top 10. Yeah. And I know how the tournament can be. And for those top teams, honestly, it's stressful, because you have high expectations of winning it all in a tournament that's set up where one bad night and you're done. So it is possible for that to happen. That's why people love to tune in and watch. However, for all of those top 10 teams to go through something along the way that derails them, I'm just going to have to sub out on that. And I think that one of them gets it done. My money is going to be on the Kansas Jayhawks. And speaking of money on them, we have an ad read I want to go ahead and do real quick from Bet Rivers. So before we move on to Nadir, let me just tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up for Bet Rivers yet, now's the time, because they're offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and reliable. With conference play right around the corner, be sure to get the action on betrivers.com today by downloading the app, and you must be 21 years or older. If you have a gambling problem, at all, then go ahead and call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay?
So what was that number again?
1-800-GAMBLER, and I have no idea what gambler is digit-wise.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You can figure it out. What I thought was interesting is that, how they used to do gambler in numbers, that was because the phone pad it still has that. Okay, never mind. How it has the letters on it and stuff. That's how you used to text back in the day, right?
Trust me, there were so many things we used to do back in the day that you have no idea. I was rotary phone. That's how old I am, where we had to go like this. You probably wouldn't even know how to use one of those.
I mean, it's pretty simple. You put your finger in the number and then pull it all the way until the little thing that catches it, right? That the basics of it.
Yes, and then you go around to the other one and go, and you put your finger out, and then it rolls back, and then you do it again.
I would have figured it out just fine. It's not that complicated. Anyways, I thought I did that ad read a little bit better than last time.
That was better. Just a couple of little slips, but that's fine. I think the listeners got the gist of it.
Yeah, Bet Rivers. That's if you want to bet on Kansas win the national championship.
Go to Bet Rivers.
Sub out on sub in, sub out. Then go ahead and go to Bet Rivers and make it happen. So, well, bringing on our next guest, let's go ahead and get to Nadir and bring him on for his interview.
Yes, sir. I like that.
Hey. It's you, right?
That's me right there. Okay, you got my music. What's up? What's up, Mr. Lucas?
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Fox?
We're good.
All right.
Well, what's up, man? So what's up? You rapping now, coaching, doing all kinds of stuff. You gotta fill me in on Nadir's life.
I mean, like I said, you know me. You feel what I'm saying? So like avenues is what I've always was in all avenues, all aspects. Basketball, I love it for sure. Number one passion. I'm still hooping. I'm still working out. I'm still training kids. I was recently able to go back to my prep school that I graduated from, won a national championship, etc. at Brewster Academy. So I want to say shout out to Coach Smith, Jason Smith, Brewster Academy faculty, as well as the students. So I was able to be there during the time of once the COVID started. So it was a little bit different. I got to coach the B team and help out on the staff and stuff like that, which was a little bit different from me not being on the court. But I enjoyed the process for sure. I enjoyed the little bit of time I was up there coaching. I also was teaching at an elementary school as well.
Oh yeah, I saw you was a head coach of one of them, right?
Yeah. So basically, like Brewster, they had like two, like an A team and a B team. So I was able to coach the B team, but as well be with the prep school team as well. So it was kind of a little bit of both.
Cool. So what kind of head coach were you? Were you a screamer? Did you have a paper rolled up and like yelling at him, or were you like kind of chill and like just do your thing? I mean, what was your vibe when you were coaching, being a head coach?
Definitely, I can't pretend like I'm a yeller. Right? I can't even pretend like I'm not. I'm a yeller, but I'm also an understander of the game and the process of these young guys. It's not like how we were playing when we were on the court. So, you have to come a different direction. But one direction that all these kids adapt to right away is real, truth, realness. So once I gave them that, and also, it's kind of hard for them to try to come at me when I was able to play at Kansas, and play a little bit professional, and also still kick their butt here and there if they try to, check the ball up with me or whatever. So, we had all that. But yeah, I was definitely a screamer, but like point guard first. So, I knew how to talk to my guys and when to scream at them and when not to scream at them, for certain situations. And, it was an adjustment at first with them as well, because like I said, this generation isn't used to that. They're not used to telling them guys like, bro, I don't care if you're not doing that here. They don't want to hear that. But, it's like you got to get them ready for when they're about to go to college and et cetera. You might not be able to do that. So, that's what I tried to bring to the table. And Coach Self was really open with just, letting me, if it was putting in certain plays, like, oh, nah, what do you think about this play? You think we should run it this way, or how this guy, So, like I said, I was really hands-on a lot. He wasn't just like, oh, go get the walk, go get, it was like, the game now, how can you help develop these guys as well? So it was fun. I enjoyed it for sure.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you took from your time at Kansas, or from the coaching staff, whatever, that you implement now, while you're coaching?
I would have to say, continuing doing the same thing every day, no matter what that is. So if like, you already good at mid-range shots, that's what you should work on. But you also need to work on what you're not that good and keeping consistent. Every day at Kansas, we had, we in the weight room, we in the gym. That was an everyday thing. And, you gotta start now. And that's what Brewster was able to do. We had 6 a.m. workouts. So, it was preparing them for that next journey for sure.
Yeah.
So did you say that you are also coaching like kids? I mean, like young kids, like elementary school kids as well?
So no, I actually was teaching at an elementary school for
okay.
So I played in Poland 2018, and then once I came back, I got into coaching at an elementary school called Grafton Street. So I was up there. Coach, I keep on saying coaching, I apologize. Teaching.
Okay.
Teaching. I started off as an IA. I started off as an IA for the first year just to, get my feet wet, see how it is, see if I like it. And, working with kids is so easy for me. It's like, that's another thing. Like basketball, working with kids. I don't want to put myself in any position of work or anything where I'm like, where it's like when I wake up, it's like, oh shit, I gotta go do this. I don't ever want to do that. I don't care what it is. I don't care what the money is. You know what I'm saying? Because and life is like, it's too much going on for you not to be happy and doing something that you're getting paid for. So it's like I always just try to find that avenue in all aspects of life. But teaching, man, I love that. I can't even lie. Like I love working at Grafton Street with those kids and being the IA. So it was an instructional assistant. I was a teacher's helper at first, and then I went into ESL, which is basically kids that came from different countries that English isn't their household language that they're speaking. That's the second language that they're speaking in the house. So reading, writing, all that good stuff. And one thing I could say about school is I had no problem with English literature. That was my my go-to. I was always tuned in. I was always I love English literature. I love writing. I love stories and stuff like that. So that it was once I was able to get in that avenue, it was a no-brainer.
How much have you followed Kansas since leaving? Do you still keep up and watch the games every now and then?
Of course, man. Of course.
So what you think? What do you think this year? You think what you think of the team and how they're doing so far?
Man, I like these guys this year. I can't even lie. I like these guys a lot. I like their swag. I like most important what I like is like they already have a camaraderie together. You can tell, just from being on the court. somebody throw an outlet pass and the person's already he knows he's about to dunk it. He's already celebrating, excited for that person. So, that's important for real, because especially with this generation, everybody wants to eat. Everybody wants this. And I'm for sure Coach Self is letting them know, just like he told us and every other team that played over there, we win. The pot is big enough for everybody. So, I feel like that, they're punching into that for sure. They had that one tough, that tournament game. I don't want to go off for that, but wow, they're doing great this year. I'm happy for the staff and for the coaches. I actually seen one assistant coaches. It was crew with one of the guys up at Brewster. So yeah, I seen one of the coaches. Yeah.
So speaking of Kansas and your time there, what would be one of your favorite memories of the time that you were a KU player?
As an KU player?
As a player, like it could have been a game, it could have been a practice, it could have been, a time in the hotel when something happened that was fun or funny or whatever. What was a memory that you'll always remember?
I'll give 3 classic moments of me being at basketball wise, being a student athlete, and then I'll go something. I'll say just something funny in the dorm. Why not? Okay. So number
funny is always good.
Number 1 for me for sure is definitely that has to be my sophomore year Oklahoma State game. I ain't never hit no game winner my whole life of playing.
Nadir, real quick, we just did a top 5 list of top 5 game winners. You were on my list. I put you on at number 3. I got you.
See, and this is what I'm saying, Lando. This is no fluke. You feel me, Lando? We took me and Lando, man. We got time together, man. I can't wait to see you again, Lando. Yeah, but for sure, I would have to go with Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State my sophomore year. That was to make sure we clinched for I think our not 10th. I want to say 9th Big 12 championship because 10th was my junior year. I remember that. That was real important for me to win that 10th, my favorite number. But yeah, 9th. And Elijah Johnson had just fouled out, and I was still in the game. I probably only made like 2 shots, truthfully, before making that. And it wasn't bad misses. Like, they were just not – I think Oklahoma had something going on with the rims. It just kept on knocking the ball out. But I remember, like, the last play, it was tie game for a while. Maybe, like, 2 minutes or something straight where nobody could get a bucket. And went to the bench. Coach Self goes, he always gives me that smack on the butt. He's like, give me one of those. He's like, you gotta make one today. He gonna make this one, kid. I'm like, shit, I'm shooting this? I'm like, okay, I'm shooting this. We got Ben McNamara, we got Travis Rutherford, we have other, guys on the team that's, but it was to make a play time. So I just try to make a play. And I shot a floater on Forte, I want to say. I think I scored the last 4 points. I hit a bucket on like a finger roll type dipsy-do rondo move. And then the next one was a floater. So I scored like the last 4 points for us to seal the win. So that was exciting for me. We won our 9th Big 12. We made sure that we was tied for our 9th Big 12 championship. And then we kept the legacy going. So that was exciting. That was for me my most memorable time at Kansas for sure, because it was important. It was an important time. It wasn't just, it was to keep the legacy going. Let's go with practice now. Okay, let's go with practice.
I know there's some practice ones.
It's so many, but I'll just go with me. I'm gonna keep this all on me. I'm gonna go with me. So we'll go maybe my freshman year. I think this was freshman year was very exciting. It was very exciting. It was very tough. It was but it was the year that I needed. That was the year that I needed. That was the important year for me. Because any guy that don't play nowhere, after they don't play, they want to get up out of there. Like that's just how it is, And I just told my family, my other people, I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, I can figure this out. So I remember freshman year, we got into this thing at Lando knows we this time during the year where we're like the only people on campus.
We were just talking about that earlier.
Yes, there's nobody on campus. Okay, there's literally only sports teams, and I want to say the sports team, but I don't see anybody else. I don't only see us. Like, I don't know where everybody else is staying at. They must be living in Kansas somewhere close. I don't know. It's literally only us on campus. I remember my freshman year, you know, before we came in, it was FOE. You know, that was a fans. The fans knew about FOE. You know, how camaraderie they were, how together they were, how much love they have for each other as a team. And when we came in, we started the KUCMB. You know, that's, you know, KUCMB. Everybody was it's so funny to hear, like, you know, what does it stand for? And I always looked at everybody like, KUCMB? I mean, try to put it together yourself. Kansas University College men's basketball. Simple as that. So, you know, we had this thing where we were going back with the older guys. Me, Ben, Jamari, Nico, a couple other guys. And then it was Thomas Robinson, Elijah, Tyshawn, Jeff, you know, the older guys. So we started this thing FOE. And we get into something in the where we ended up like tying Travis up with tape. Travis Relaford. We tie him up with tape. We keep him captured in the room. The older guys try to come down. Someone pulls a fire extinguisher, puts the fire extinguisher all inside the dorm room. We got to evacuate. The whole dorm got to evacuate.
Oh, my God.
Next day, we're panicking. We're like, oh, man, what's Coach Self going to do? So, you know, we could bring us into the circle. You know, who does it? Nobody says who does it. You know, who was involved? You know, you got to raise your hand. You know, I'm involved. Ben was involved. You know, the older guys don't raise their hand, though. They don't. No. They don't raise their hand. They don't raise their hand once. And the thing about me is, like, I always, if it was film, if it was just him talking, no matter what it was, I was always in front. So it was like, no matter what the wrath was coming, like, I was gonna get it. So I was in front, and then he goes, you know, nah, where was you? Was you at? I'm like, yeah, I got my hand raised. I was in it, you know. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't understand is Coach Self is during the season is like, you know, he wants to win just as bad as anybody. You know, winning is the most important thing. You know, and that's why I went to that school, because I've never played anywhere where I didn't win. So winning is so important. So, like I said, the older guys didn't raise their hand. Me, Ben, everybody else did. Now, even as a freshman, I'm not playing a lot. You know what I'm saying? But it's in that time, Big 12 tournaments coming. That time is coming. Tyshawn, you know, he's having IV. He's getting hurt. So my name could be called at any moment. As I'm older, I'm starting to see why. So, boom, he names everybody. Like I said, I raised my hand. Ben, Jamari, these are all my guys. We're all in it together. So he goes, you know, he tells these guys, you know, on the line. And I'm thinking I'm on the line too. Nah, he doesn't make me run. I'll never forget this. Ben, Jamari, Merv, all them guys were so mad at me that I didn't run. But I was like, I don't know what else you guys want me to do. I raised my hand. I said I did the crime. Like, he didn't make me run. So after that, it was almost like FOE and KCMB against everybody. You know, they had the older guys like, hey, that's your man's right there. He didn't even help. He didn't even run with y'all. You know, all that stuff. So that was a fun moment, because, like I said, that's the time, you know, where you usually, even if I was in high school, I'll be back home, be able to see my family, you know. So I was able to be with the guys on the team, but we were still always together, you know, and that was important for real. That was important for me, not being able to have any of my family members there and being a family-oriented type of guy. You know, everybody was there. The teammates, you know, they made sure that. So that's a funny story. And then I don't know. What was the last one? What was the last one? Basketball.
I mean, it really, you had said dorm, but I think that was part of the dorm right there.
Yeah, so. That's part of the dorm. So yeah, that's basketball. Dorm.
I think you covered it all.
Yeah, those are two things I'll never forget. Like, I can't forget those times. Those are fun times for sure.
Yeah, I still remember when I had the movie room set up in my living room, and we watched that movie, This Is the End, which I don't think like, I've watched it back and it's funny, but I don't think I've laughed that hard before. With all you guys in there, you were watching that movie. That was hilarious.
You want to know why? Because that movie was so, like, everything was unexpected. Like, you know,
it
like,
was wild.
They were doing things that was just like, what? It was just like out of control. But yeah, come on, Lando, that was our thing. Like, come on, Lando, you gotta tell the people we focused in on movie night. That was our thing. We had movie nights.
Movie nights, game you was my boy for real. And then you would come over. He would just be in the room chilling. I remember I would leave and then come back and he was just in the room chilling, like, watching a movie or something. But yeah, no, he was always there for sure.
For sure, man.
But last question, I'll let you go. If you had the keys to this team as a coach, you know, what would be something that you would do with this roster change if there was like one thing that you would change to improve the team moving forward, moving into the rest of the season?
It's so hard to say, you know, because I'm not actually with the guys in practice. But from what I see on the court, wise is like we have that guy. I don't know these guys' names. Number 11, who's the point guard? I want to say who transferred.
Martin. Yeah, Remy Martin.
Remy Martin. Yes, I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot, and it's you know, we have those two other guys that are scorers, but at all times, you know, it's very important that that point guard is keeping that float. So even though he's trying to get guys involved, he has to make sure that he keeps that foot on the pedal. I don't know if that's for a whole team aspect thing, but I know that's just from who I see from that guy, you know, and what he can bring for Kansas. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't even gave a lick yet. I can tell he hasn't gave a lick because he wants to make sure, you know, he's giving that point guard, which is okay. But there's about to be a time right now, my man, where he's gonna have to put the saddle up because that's what's gonna be needed. It's gonna be now. Everybody's gonna know. I don't know everybody's name. Number 2 and number 30.
Yeah, Christian.
I don't know everybody's name. I know numbers. I know numbers.
Yeah.
You know, those are the guys. Those are Kansas guys right now. Those are our guys. But as the season progresses, you know, everybody's gonna start knowing their tendencies. So now it's gonna be who else is gonna step up to the court, and it's gonna be number 11 for sure. That point guard that keeps it going. He has to make sure that he has his foot on the pedal. I don't see any changes. Everybody's doing their job. Clearly, I can see that everybody knows their job and they're tuning into their job and focusing on that, not trying to do any extra. But my boy Martin, it's gonna be time where you're gonna have to do extra, my man, if you watching this, which is fine because you're ready for it.
It's interesting you say that too because we had Coach Rob on a couple of weeks ago, and he said something about him, which is that he goes into the game almost with, and I know that I know point guards like this, but he goes into the game thinking, okay, this is a game I'm going to dish out assists, or this is the game I'm going to try to do this or try to do that with a preset mentality. And then he's passing up shots to make sure that other people get involved and stuff, you know, like when really Coach Self is talking to him the same way that you are saying, hey, if it comes tournament time and we need you to hit that shot, you got to be ready to hit that shot, not already in your head about, oh, I want to get this person involved or I need to do this or do that. You know, like he needs to be able to, you know, insert himself in all aspects and take what the game gets to him and not, you know, go out there thinking, oh, this is what I'm going to do or this game I'm going to do this or that, you know. So I think that you're right on page with what the coaching staff, you know, they're, you know, right now is thinking and talking with them about. So good. I can see the coaching coming out of you now. I see it.
Yeah. Linda, yeah, Larry, I love you. No, but it's the truth though, because you know everybody knows when it's tournament time, and like Coach Self knows that more than anybody. You know, it's like his point guards have to, you know, get it going. You know what I'm saying? And he's definitely changed over the years. You know, as in opening that up for them. I can 100% say that, 100%. So it's like. That opportunity he's given them a lot of opportunities, and this guy's a fifth year guy like Trav. He's all in. He should be all in, and I know he is. But you know, he's just that guy. Like you said, you know, it's like you can't be predetermined on what you want to do before you step on the court. As in a point guard, shooting guard, no matter what position you play, because the game changes. You can have a full scouting report, which Coach Self said plenty of time. We done worked on this full scouting report for a whole week. We get on the court, they not running any of that shit. It's an adjustment time, and that's part of just being a point guard, being a shooting guard. It's time you have to be able to adjust as the game goes on. But I'm excited for Kansas this year. I can definitely say that. Say what's up.
That's your little one right there. What's up? What's up, little man?
What's up, one? Say hi. You little punk.
All right, man. Well, it was good talking with you, and we'll definitely connect, man. We gotta meet up and kick it sometime.
Yes, for sure, man. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Mr. Lucas. Thank Lando. And my
All
boy
right, man.
Rob that hasn't had his camera on. Nice to see you
That's
too.
that's our producer. He's just,
I know.
in
I
here.
seen him earlier. I seen him earlier. He had like a blue shirt on.
He
But
had
all
a
right,
Duke
thank you
shirt
guys.
on, man.
Make sure you tell Mom I said hi too, okay?
Yo, his blue shirt was a Duke shirt. Our producer's a Duke fan. Trust me, I know.
You know what?
I know.
Let me
It's a
stop.
mess.
Let me stop. I got a lot of Duke family. Let me stop. I got Quinn Cook. I got a lot of people.
All right.
Kyrie, you know, it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. It's all love.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Take care.
Nice talking. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up now. That was fun catching up with him. He was always, a good friend of mine. He was a point guard when I first got there. And one thing you always mentioned was, hey, make sure you're close with the point guard. And I did, but, ultimately he was a great guy also. And we went through lots of highs and lows together, and we didn't get too far into that, but he was always, I was always there for him, vice versa. So, it was nice to have him on it and see that he's getting the coaching and stuff. He sounded like he was echoing what the coaching staff was pretty much saying to us. So that's a good step for him.
Well, what's always interesting is the fact that, as a point guard, almost everything he talked about was through the lens of being a point guard.
It's like how we do it with the big.
Exactly. Isn't that so funny? Because immediately he was like, well, Remy and the points, and that's what they did. And then for us, we're like, well, the big needs to do this and do this. So it's just funny how naturally fall into what you know best.
Well, I mean, even when I'm watching the games, I end up just finding myself following Dave and following Mitch and those guys, around the court more than anything. I'm sure he does the same thing with Remy and all of them. But all right, it's time now. Let's wrap it up with the most important question of the day. That I know, if you made it this far, you're welcome. This is the time that you get the rewards. Is hearing about what Mr. Richard Lucas thought of the new Spider-Man. So I want to hear, what were your thoughts?
This is hard because it's super important to not give away anything.
Oh no, give it all away. If spoiler alert, if you gotten this far and you haven't seen it, then go ahead and just turn it off. No, go ahead, go into it.
Oh, okay. I guess
we're
that's
not
good.
worried
That's
about
good.
No, give it both.
Okay, so you gave the disclaimer. So spoiler alert. Exactly. Shut off right now if you have not seen the movie.
Exactly. Well, it's too late. I already told them that all the Spider-Mans were in it. So go ahead and continue.
So anyway, so let me start by saying I really liked it. Okay, I enjoyed it. I was watching it, but I don't think I liked it as much as some other people.
Okay.
And the couple of the reasons I had is that, you and I are similar in a lot of ways in the sense that we like bad guys. We like good, powerful bad guys. Mm-hmm. And I felt that this was a very watered down version of the bad guys, right? Because I thought there was never a time when I felt like, oh man, are we going to win this? Even though you always know that you're going to win at the end because it's a movie. But I felt it was a very weak with the bad guys. So that part I just didn't really like. But the parts that I did enjoy were, I thought it was just so brilliant that they brought in the other Spider-Man mans. I just thought weaving them in there was just so integral. But Landon, I will tell you, the best part of this movie is the fact that they introduced Daredevil.
Oh, and you know what? I was there on Thursday night. I was there on Thursday night. I've been, reluctant to watch any of those. I haven't watched any. But all of a sudden, this guy comes onto the screen, and the whole theater's like, clapping and shit.
I told you.
So I get out my phone and I look. I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to hear it from you.
I told you. I tried to tell you that. I'm telling you, if you will watch. See, now you have to, because now you got to figure out, this guy is blind.
I was like, who is this blind guy that just came up on him?
And he catches the brick and he can't even see. I'm telling you, you have to watch all of those series, starting with Daredevil #1. It's amazing. So anyway, so overall, I really liked it. And of course, the cutscenes at the end, set up for the metaverse for Doctor Strange 2. So that'll be fun.
Metaverse?
Or what do you call it?
You're thinking about multiverse.
Multiverse. I'm thinking of Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah.
They've got me trained already.
Yeah, right. I know all the commercials.
The multiverse. So I'm looking forward to how they're kind of going to take it and all that. It felt. I'll tell you the one thing. We saw it in the theater, and it felt like a big Marvel movie again. Which it felt like it's been because even Black Widow and some of the other ones didn't have that feel to it.
No,
this one felt like it.
Yeah, and I loved it. I got to watch it, with the crazies on the opening night, so that was fun. But no, I mean I really liked it. I liked all the same things you liked, and the thing that you didn't like about the bad guys. I mean, Marvel does that in some movies where it's more of a setup movie for something else than anything. Yeah. And I thought that Green Goblin was fantastic performance by him. That was awesome. And at the end of the day, like Aunt May still got killed. Spoiler and stuff, she still got killed. Like big things happen in the movie. And then ultimately the whole multiverse, or whatever it is, that I like that concept because you go from what's bigger than Thanos, what's bigger than all this stuff, how do you top that in a new 10, 15 years series of this or whatever chapter? It's by going into and tapping into the multiverse, bringing in all kinds of new bad guys, bringing in all kinds of new. You can incorporate X-Men, all kinds of stuff if you want to.
Do anything. Yeah.
They could reach anywhere. So I think that for that reason, this was up there. And like you said, it brought back that we're back to big Marvel movies and stuff. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to seeing how they take this.
So you will commit to watching the Netflix Daredevil and all them. Just do it. Just do it. You have to do it now.
Maybe
you have to.
If he's a bigger part of whoever this guy is a bigger part of it, then I may have to go back.
You know as well as anybody, Marvel they don't do anything flippant, right? Everything has a meaning to it. They don't just put this guy in for 2 seconds. He's obviously going to be part of it. So they're integrating him into the movies. You have to get the back. You don't know anything about him. So that's just some dude who caught a brick.
But there's some guys I don't know anything about too because they're in the comics and stuff. And I figured out. I remember when Captain America or Captain Marvel, they showed her little logo at the end of one of the movies, and the whole theater was going crazy. I'm like, what is this logo for? And then obviously I found out it was Captain Marvel and stuff.
But they did a whole movie on it to learn how she became who she was.
I guess you're right.
You don't know anything about this guy. I'm telling you, it's the one thing you and I disagree on. Because you have not, I've been telling you for years, those whole series are amazing. They are all amazing. Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, all of those are amazing. You got to do it.
All right, I'll check it out. Well, I have to get going, so we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. But yeah, no, it was good. Nice little quick. I mean, I thought it was going to be quick, and then
I know, right?
Going an hour, anyways. But
that's quick for us.
But anyways, I know. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, and we will be back, I guess, after the holidays to have another show for you guys.
Happy holidays to everybody. Be safe.